what were some? I mean, that was an obvious mistake. But what were some like the big mistakes you're like I should have?
Oh man, so many mistakes.
I know it took you a long time to ask for IDs.
Yeah,
I remember that moment you had to find.
I can tell you the guy. I can tell you the description. I can tell you his Facebook name. I can tell you where he lives. I can tell you he paid me like $50 a week for, I don't know, 4 years to pay off his restitution.
What did he take?
He took a Sigma 50.
Yep, and a body.
And a 60. No, he took a 5D Mark 4.
Mark 4.
This is what was crazy about that whole situation when he took it.
Come up. Yeah, he was advertising it on Facebook.
Yeah, he would post videos and stuff and take pictures of him taking pictures.
Yeah, with the camera.
Nick's camera.
And the way that I knew it was mine is because that camera body had a 6D Mark II strap on it, and it was a 6D Mark II.
Yes.
And what's even more crazy about this is, so at the time I was sharing that space above Hell's Kitchen with Patrick James, and he was like, "Hey man,
Patrick had an office."
Yeah, we were sharing that space. He didn't really have
a hustler.
Patrick actually used that space more than I did, I think. But Patrick shoots me this message. He's like, "Hey man, there's this Sigma 50 popped up on Craigslist. Is it yours?" I was like, "I don't know. Let me look." So I pull it up, and of course, I keep track of all the serial numbers for everything. Mm-hmm. And like, they were great pictures of this lens.
They were. I remember he was holding it and everything.
Yeah, and I was like, "Let me look at this thing." I was like, "Okay, look at this digit. Shit, this is
yours.
This is my lens." And I was like, immediately, all right, I'm gonna act like I'm gonna buy this lens. So I messaged the guy and I'm like, "Hey, I want to buy this lens from you tomorrow. I got cash." Would you ask me?
Not realizing he's
$675 or something for that lens. $675. I was perfect. I need it tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Hey, like, where'd you get it from?" He's like, "Did you buy it new?" Blah, blah. He's like, "Oh, I bought it from this guy." And I'm like, "Sure you did, bro.
Yeah, okay.
Sure you did." And then we kept going back and forth. And he, like, the whole time he's like messaging me, answering my questions, like, "What's the condition? You know, where'd you get it from?" He bought it from this guy. He's like, I flip camera gear. So when he said that, I was like, huh, something's strange here. You flip camera gear, like you buy and sell it. He's like, "Yeah, I buy camera gear that I think make money on and I sell it." I was like, "All right, well, I'm going to be honest with you. This is actually my lens that was stolen from my company on this date. Here's all the documentation. I don't..."
Personal over phone.
This was over Facebook. Or email.
Facebook,
I think it was email because it was on Craigslist. Okay. And he was like, "Oh, man, like, can I call you?" And I was like, yeah.
Because you'd already had the cops had already had the serial number.
Yeah, I already made a police report. So I get on the phone with this guy, and he's like, "Hey, like, this has never happened to me before. I didn't steal your equipment. I can tell you who I bought it from, where I bought it from, yada, yada." I was like, "Look, I'll come over tomorrow, and we can talk about it and see what's up." And this guy lived in Hampton. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right. So I went over to Hampton, met this guy. Super nice guy. Very nice guy. And he was like...
strapped up?
Nah. He was like an older dude.
Oh, okay.
He was probably like...
I thought the guy who stole it was from was in Norfolk.
He is.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, there's two sides of this whole story. So he had just the lens, is what he had.
So he really did get...
So he bought the lens from this other dude.
This house in Hampton.
Uh-huh.
I probably bought a lens from this man.
Probably. It's like off of...
Queen Street, almost. Not Queen Street, but you're going towards...
It's not Aberdeen.
It's right off the interstate.
Armistead.
Right?
It's off Armistead.
Yes.
Yeah, right off the interstate. Like, you get off the interstate, you make your first right, and it's
right in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Greenhouse, something like that.
It's like it has like the old awnings on it.
Yep.
I don't remember his name.
I can't remember his name.
He was a super nice guy.
Yeah, he was a really nice guy.
What's his name? Charles,
something like that. I think so. I bought a camera and a lens from him, man. That's crazy.
Super nice guy.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we got to talking. We built a rapport. I've sent people to him, like, when they're looking for things, he would hit me up. Like, he would come across batteries, like brand new batteries and boxes. He's like, "Hey, man, do you need any more batteries? I'll hook you up. I got, I paid $30 for it."
She's still around.
I don't know. I haven't heard from him. I haven't bought used equipment in a while.
Go ahead.
I hope so. Super cool guy. So then let's talk about the guy who stole my stuff. Mm-hmm. So I got my lens back, right? So I'm like, I'm tracking this guy down. Like, I take it personal when people steal stuff from me, like super personal.
The whole community did.
Like, I will like dark web find you type of personal, like crazy.
The whole community did.
We'll go deep web if we have to. But anyways, so I track this guy down. I see all his posts on Facebook, and taking pictures on overpasses and at clubs, yada yada. So then he makes a for sale post for the camera, and I was like, okay.
So you've been watching him.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And which sounds super creepy and stalky, but whatever. It's my stuff.
You got to.
So I set it up. I'm like, hey man, I'll buy this stuff from you. It was on Offer Up. That's where he posted it. So I knew on Facebook he was posting all this stuff. Offer Up, he posted that stuff. Like, yeah, I'll buy this stuff from you. Like when can I get it from you? Yada yada. Where are you at? He explains the whole thing. He's like, I'm in Norfolk. I can meet you at 37th and Zen. Or no, he said that he can meet me at the school, which is off Llewellyn. I don't know the high schools.
I know what you're talking about.
Whatever schools those are.
I don't know.
I was supposed to meet him somewhere. Needless to say, it turns out he's like, oh, I'm riding with my boy. I got to meet you at 37th and Zen. I was like, okay, cool. Fine. I'll meet you there. What he didn't know is I had already had a police report out for him, and I was sitting with the cops. So the craziest thing about that was this is I'll give this positive feedback to Norfolk cops. Those cops who helped me that day were super responsive and wanting to assist me.
Making sure you were taking
because I rolled up on them and I was like, hey, I have a situation where had this lens stolen. I have a police report. Here's the information. This is the guy. He said that he's going to give it to me. The detective I was dealing with at the time really sucked.
Really?
Yeah, he was horrible. I wish I could remember his name because I would call him out right now.
Months before you got your camera back.
Right. Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah.
So the cops were like, yeah, we can help you. Let me just make sure this is all legit real quick. He looks it up on his computer. He's like, yeah, if you want to, go get your stuff back, let's do it. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm pumped. So Jerry Navarrete was actually with me.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, this is great.
This is like right here, man.
This is like, a fight's gonna happen after high school.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm hyped for it. Ready? Let's. Yeah. So we follow them, and we're going down Hampton Boulevard from basically Midtown Tunnel towards 37th and Zen. And the cop calls me. He's like, hey, you need to go across the street to the Walgreens. I think it's a Walgreens or CVS. Like, okay. So as we roll up, I'm on the phone with him. I'm like, hey, he's getting out of the car. And he had just parked, like, right out front. I'm like, hey, and he's super obvious, super noticeable. Hey, he's getting out of the car. He's like, you sure that's him? I'm like, 1,000%. This is that dude. Yeah. You cannot miss this guy. And they came out, and they drew their guns up, and they were like, don't move. Yeah. And he had his bag with him. And yeah, he had the equipment. They brought the equipment over to CVS, and there's like
the car and walked up to him. Was like, remember me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So they brought it to me over there, and they're like, "Hey, is this your equipment? Can you verify it?" He had scratched the serial numbers off the camera. Right. I was like, "Yeah, this is the stuff. This is my stuff." And he's like, "All right, well, you can't have it now because we have to put in evidence and it has to go through this process, but you can get it. We'll be in touch." I was like, "All right, that's fine." So it went months. I mean, like, probably over a year before he got sentenced for stealing my equipment.
And before you even got it back?
No, I got my equipment back actually pretty quick.
Okay.
Probably 2 months after, maybe a month after he got arrested.
Okay.
They sentenced him to jail for that?
Yeah, he went to jail that night for stealing that. I don't know if he, like, stayed. Yeah, he didn't
pay you back.
Right. So what's kind of crazy about that is he went, I don't know, 3 or 4 like court hearings not showing up. I'm like, bro, you were making this so much worse for yourself.
Very.
Not showing up. And it was like they basically came down and was like, look, this guy doesn't drive, he doesn't have a license, he doesn't have a job. I'm like, that's not my problem.
Not my problem.
I pay taxes. Yeah, like,
fix it.
I have a job, I have a car,
yeah.
I pay taxes, I want my stuff, don't steal from me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where all of the identification stuff started out with. Long story to talk about just taking IDs for people.
I remember when you, I think I had to pick up some gear. I was bringing it back to you. And you were like, no, I was picking up. And you said, hey, man, I got to get your ID. Mind you, I've been renting from Nick for almost a year or two now.
Yeah.
And he's like, look, man, that's when I found out everything about it. I'm like, damn. Like,
I mean, well, you and Great Marcus look suspect, though.
He does.
What?
If only these cameras were rolling prior to them recording,
first of all,
bossing you around.
First of all,
no respect.
terrible. Just
that doesn't make you a suspect. That means you know what you need to get done.
Just raising your
Got
voice.
competent help.
terrible guy, man.
I mean, you raise your voice when you just ask a question. It sounds like you're guilty.
Okay, all right. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna let Will edit this podcast episode. We're gonna see how long it takes him to get it done.
Well, you just want
Not pay somebody to do it.
I think
Not pay somebody to do it.
Not pay somebody.
You do it. I'm gonna sit with you and watch you edit it.
I'll do it, man. Don't tempt me with a good time.
He's got
Deal.
YouTube. He can
got
figure it
what?
out. He's got YouTube. He can figure it out.
You don't know Will very well. Then Will ain't looking
Well.
at YouTube for no editing video because he doesn't want to do video.
I don't want to do video either.
Exactly. So
Sounds
he
terrible.
knows.
I figure. Look, I figure the longer
Stop trying to break up the team.
the longer I sit here and talk, the more time you have to edit this.
Because
video.
first, no, I'll just cut half of it out. But because I remember many nights I had to meet you. Hey man, you done with the lens? I gotta
yeah, like
give it to somebody else in like
the
2
next
hours.
day.
Can you meet me?
yeah.
No, like that. I promise to somebody else. Like, how long did you just realize? Like, you know what? Enough is enough. Like, I'm gonna get a store and stop. Because there was times when you had to like
quick.
put yourself. You went through hell. Like,
People don't understand how difficult it is to try and coordinate with people to pick stuff up and return stuff.
It is.
After you've worked 40 hours a week and you're like,
And you're
man.
riding both sides.
Yeah. I was driving from
he was
Hampton
driving
here.
from Ocean View. Me, like I said, Toys R Us was his normal spot,
I met you
and
twice because I met you at the
Harris Teeter.
Harris Teeter, man, whatever you
Shout
could
out to
do,
Harris Teeter.
Harris
Which
Teeter,
corner?
man.
whatever Nick could do to not
Yeah,
have to
and
drive too far from Ocean View.
You know what's crazy? I wasn't doing it. I never thought of it like a side hustle. I never was like, oh man, I'm
You were
gonna make
helping people.
I'm gonna make so much money. It was literally like, hey, I'm meeting all these cool people. I'm having fun doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to see what they're doing. You know, we had the Facebook group. It was, you know, not very big at the time, but
What Facebook group?
Advanced Photographers Network.
We'll let Will deal with that after we get to this next question. So,
Do I have questions?
and that's the thing. Like,
It wasn't a money grab at all.
That's my point. I mean, you can say you probably had an impact on so many different creatives
Which I
careers.
I'm probably the most humble person when it comes to that because I don't think that. I gave people the opportunity to use equipment, and I still do give them the opportunity to use equipment that maybe they can't afford or maybe they don't want to afford.
Because the
or-
shipping prices, man. Like, the lens may not be that expensive, but you're paying like $40 to get it shipped here.
Well, even it goes beyond the shipping. My whole thing was the logistics now of UPS and FedEx.
Yes.
Like Patrick James, get your FedEx
FedEx.
people together, man. Like we're waiting on some equipment and you're delaying us. There's been so many situations where people are like, "Hey, I rented from Borrow Lenses and it didn't come in on time. Do you have this?"
I've
And it's
rented.
like,
I literally have a lens right now. I just rented anamorphic, and it got
From where?
delivered. Huh?
from where?
Lens rental. I'll call them out. Lens rental. It got delivered. FedEx is the delivery. You don't have
I don't
anamorphic
have
lenses.
it. I know.
So
Video guys.
thank you.
Gotta have
You've been neglecting us for years. So they delivered it at 9 a.m. to the FedEx because they want you to sign for it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to have it dropped off at the FedEx by the house.
Smart move.
So I ain't got to worry about tracking them down.
Yeah.
Because the window they give you, they're never on time for the window. They'll tell you, oh, we'll be here between 1 and 4:30, and they don't get here.
I've had to do that.
Had to sign. Anyway, had to sign for 9 a.m. I didn't get the email that it had been dropped off, that it was delivered until 6:30 p.m. It had been dropped off at 9:30 that morning.
Wow.
I was
love
busy, so I couldn't go anywhere. But it was like, why y'all take so long to like notify FedEx to notify
Right.
that you had delivered it? And had I been waiting on it all day, if I had a shoot, I would have missed it.
Mm-hmm.
I would have missed using that lens if I didn't have the shoot.
Yeah.
I had a situation one time with FedEx. I don't remember what it was. I needed something. I had to have something.
Sounds
Yeah,
like a Will
all right.
situation.
This is. I think I know what it was. So even having this store, I've rented from other companies because there's things that I don't have that I don't want to buy that they can supply me in bulk. Right. I used to shoot competitive figure skating,
Gotcha.
so I probably needed some video cameras, right? And FedEx was delivering it. I lived in Norfolk, and somehow, some way, I was like, "Hey, I want to pick it up from Hampton, from the warehouse."
Mhm.
I don't remember what the story was, but I needed to pick it up. They're like, "No problem. We'll hold it here. You'll be good." I drive to Hampton. I show up, and they're like, "Yeah, it's on a truck in Norfolk." And I'm like, and I have to sign for it. And I'm like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, I have to have this. Like, what can I track? Can you call the driver? Like, I need this stuff. Like, we talked about this.
Ask Will about the time he threatened the girl on the phone and told her she wasn't gonna get off the clock till he got there. And kept her on the phone from leaving his house to the FedEx office and told her she was not leaving there till he got his lens.
Bro, I was so mad. It's the same kind of situation. I ordered a
7200.
It was a year before you had started renting.
See, that's how you cover it up. You say, "Oh, before you started."
No, it was. It was like
before you started rental
it
stuff.
was 2015.
Before I knew you.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
It was 2015.
No, it wasn't because
I believe you.
It was.
You was dealing with what you call it. 2015. It's been that long. You're right. Yeah. You're right.
So I ordered the lens. I need a 7200. I got a wedding the next day.
Yes.
I ordered it on Wednesday. It was supposed to be there Friday. Called him like, nobody. Where's my lens at? Same thing like with just you. Like,
yeah.
It never got to my house. Where is it at? Call. She says, yeah, we can't help you today.
I'd be like, excuse me?
I said,
what?
What do you mean you can't help me? She's like, can't help you. We're about to quit.
About to close for the night.
I said, no, I'm on my way up there. You're going to stay on the phone. I want to hear you breathe until I
my gosh.
to this FedEx.
He got the lens.
But the funny thing was, I called before, and she said, well, you can pick it up from the carrier. We just need your ID. I was like, no, I'm sending my girlfriend. She's going to come get it. No, it's got your name on it. You can. Said, look, man, you stay right there. I'm coming to get that lens because I needed it for the wedding the next day. Pause in the action. You like this interview? You like the knowledge you're getting? You like our guests? We continuously do this week in and week out. So we'll be bringing content to y'all week in and week out. If you want to catch the next interview, like, subscribe, hit the ring bell for us, get notified on the next episode of the Hustle and Motivate podcast. Let's get back into it.
Man, I just recently learned that because I ordered the Mac Studio last year and it didn't come on time.
Yeah.
And I had left the house. Once again, if you're going to give a window FedEx, you should be there in the window.
And this is always FedEx. I've never had this problem with UPS.
So he's supposed to be there by 3 o'clock. I had to be somewhere about 4. So I was like, okay, perfect. It's from 10 a.m. to 3. It's the biggest window I think I've ever gotten. He shows up 3:20. I'd already left the house. So of course I tell him, hey man, I got the ring. Hey man, just leave it on the porch. Like,
Won't do it.
Yeah, in Portsmouth, the guy had in Portsmouth left it on the porch because he knew me. This guy won't leave it on the porch. So now I have to wait until they come back. If you miss them again, most likely they ship. You got so. Right. I tried to get it fixed. He was like, "Well, you got to call FedEx." I called FedEx. FedEx was like, "Well, you got to call B&H, and B&H has to approve the transfer. They have to call us and tell us you want to be rerouted, and then we'll approve it. Then you can't reroute it. B&H does." I'm like, "But it's my package. I got the information. I got the." Call B&H. B&H normally doesn't do it, but the lady was understood. So she called FedEx, had it rerouted. But it took 4 days from the day it was supposed to be originally delivered for them to get it rerouted and then put at FedEx. By that time, I was like, I'm just going to start sending stuff straight to FedEx.
Can we talk about how first world problems
it is? It really is.
And how when Amazon doesn't deliver your package in like 2 days, you're freaking out.
Fly on the plate. When did they stop doing that?
Right, they got you. I
tried to get an HDMI cable for something, and I'm used to getting it in 2 days. Yeah. We 3-4 days now.
Yep. When does that happen? When did that happen?
COVID, man. COVID.
They don't guarantee. They don't guarantee 2-day Prime.
My packages have been late.
So why am I paying Prime fees if I'm not getting Prime?
Right. What's the point?
Amazon.
This is remember. This is before. I don't know if you remember, but you remember. Before Prime, you had to wait on Amazon package. I'm talking like 15 to 20 days.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't know when that package
was. Hope it wasn't FedEx.
Hope it wasn't FedEx. Like, but anyway.
Yeah, man. So you did a great service because dealing with this rental companies, like I used to order from a company, I think think they were like Wisconsin or something like that. That's where I would rent from.
Right, Lynn's Pro to go.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember them.
Yep.
Will kept
They're
that
still
one so
around.
long, he might as well have bought it.
Yeah.
He didn't want to send it back.
I didn't want to send it back. I might get a job. I might need a second.
So
Can you 1099 me so I don't have to pay for this
Yes.
rental, please?
Like,
So outside of the office, outside of the IDs, what else? What's one more thing you wish you probably would have done different, or wish you knew when you came into the business?
I mean, there's things I wish I knew now. I wish I knew more of the business side of business than I did.
Because you were trial and error. I mean,
100%. Like, I could go to business school and I don't think I would learn things. I don't think I would learn that many things that I could apply to this business. I think it's a learning lesson every day, every month, every year that you go through this. I wish I knew numbers better with the business than I have. Like, it was easy when you didn't have a lot of revenue. It was
For sure.
easier, right? Your growth doesn't mean you're going to make more money. Your growth means you got more shit to deal with. You got more taxes to pay. You got more people to be involved. If you'd have asked me at the beginning of this, hey, you're going to have a public accountant, CPA, certified public accountant, or professional? I don't know what it stands for. An accountant. But, like, for what? I didn't know about setting up an LLC, filing as an S corp. I didn't know about a DUNS number. I didn't know about the SEC. I didn't know about SWAM certifications. I didn't know about business license. I didn't know about when to renew a business
you
license.
had a business license when you first started.
I got a business
you had
license.
Connect. You had Connect.
Yeah, I think I had a business license probably because when Connect still started technically in 2012. I basically started that. I had to start that because of getting paid as a contractor
For sure.
from my ex-girlfriend's company.
well, money in is a business. Money in is a business.
Right.
Anything else, it's a waste of time.
Money end.
Money in is a business.
Oh, getting money in.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the most important.
For
Why
sure.
even deal with the paperwork and all that?
So
Right.
you just really just saw a need and just wanted to help people.
Yeah, I mean it was
Creative.
fun. I was really enjoying what I was doing. I liked photography. It gave me a reason to buy more equipment. What
Like
better
we all-
way?
Yeah, exactly.
What better way to get you more equipment and have people help
Hell of
you
a
buy it?
write off.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
And then it was so funny because I look back at some like Facebook memories and stuff, and you'd be like, oh, really excited to get this 5D Mark IV on Friday from FedEx. They'll actually be here probably on Tuesday, but and now I'm like, well, we could have a dozen 5D Mark IVs. I'm just like, meh. It literally got to the point where I was opening boxes and I lost all my excitement.
It didn't matter.
It was so weird because you lose that sense of wow, this is awesome.
This is
The 7200. Like you don't want to drop it. And you just hold it.
You've seen it open.
Now I'm just like one-handed carrying it around and
That's cool.
so reckless.
So what's been the best part? One of the best parts of this.
I mean, definitely the people I've met.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys. I mean, you,
Mhm.
Marcus. People like Marcus. You're great.
Both of y'all can go to hell. You know what? I'm just gonna say it just like that. Y'all not gonna sit up here and act like I'm just like this big bad.
It's crazy though. I mean, you guys have to be in the same position as me. You've met so many people through photography,
Yeah.
and like, probably one of the I think one of the coolest things that I've done. I mean, obviously helping people. I love helping the people, but something that was cool to me. I was shooting Patriotic Festival one year. I had my 1DX, and I think I had my Sigma 120 to 300 on, and I was up like by the pit area, and there's this family in one of they call them chalets or like the VIP areas, and this little girl was standing there, and I was just standing right next to him, and I was like, "Oh, do you want to like see what it's like to take pictures from here?" She was like super excited. She's probably 5 or 6 years old, and she's standing up on the rail, and I'm holding the camera, and I'm like talking to her about it. Well, someone had taken a picture of that, and then asked me like my email address or something like that, and I just happened to post it on Facebook, and I was like, oh, like super cool moment, like little kids super interested in photography. It's great to share your ability with anyone, whether they're younger, older,
What doesn't matter.
whatever. It doesn't matter who you are. You just share that that talent you have. And it's like that child ended up being someone who knew me's friend or something like that. And I was like, oh, like such a cool moment.
It is.
And it shows you like how small the world is. And like, I don't know what that kid's doing now, but hopefully that moment made them go, hey, maybe I want a camera. Like maybe even if you don't want to do it professionally, I want a camera just to enjoy the world through the lens.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you asked me about, when we were setting up, you asked me about True Collective. I'm like, man, it's rough, but it's like meeting these photographers, man,
Right.
and seeing what they create.
And then you're like, damn, like why can't I do that?
It's the coolest
I gotta
shit.
figure that out.
It is, man.
It's so cool to see creative people.
Yeah.
And get
Yeah,
inspiration.
different styles and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
It pushes you.
It does. Yeah.
It pushes you because it's like you respect it because it's like, man, that's a great work of art, but can I do that?
Yep.
How did they do it, and what did they blah 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 blah. So it's a constant way of sharpening a set of tools. But let's get to Will's gripe.
All right.
Yeah, let's go. Oh, you got a gripe.
Yeah.
It's not a gripe.
Oh, here we
No,
go.
matter of fact, I didn't know that group was still around.
Are
Yeah.
you serious?
Yeah, because I don't know if I just
There's like over 6,500 people.
I don't know if it's just because I don't see it anymore.
Well, it's Facebook.
Or, yeah, I don't go up there anymore.
I'm not on Facebook that much.
I remember
anymore
when
either.
you were doing like the competitions for like
right cover photos.
and people were really digging it.
Yeah.
But Will has had many battles in that group. So, Will, you go ahead and take
What
it.
made you start that group, Nick?
I didn't start it.
You did?
No,
Where did it come
I
from?
actually took over that group. I wish I could remember who was even running it at the time. Gosh, they would hate me if they knew couldn't remember who actually started it. But I told them I would take it over because I had DLR going at the time and was really active, talking about everything in the community. It probably had, I don't know, 1,500, 2,000 people at that time. But yeah, I didn't start it. I just continued to try and make it grow and try to make it a good resource for everyone. I think the height of Facebook is kind of over.
It is.
For sure.
But I still think it's a good avenue. I think it's really interesting because if you look at what it was in its prime, if you will, versus what it is now, I think now you have people who are looking for photographers.
For sure.
And that is like the mecca of finding photographers, in my opinion.
For the group or Facebook?
For the person. For the person searching for a professional to do something, it's like overwhelming, right? We all know.
Yes.
It gets ridiculous.
It battles LinkedIn. Professionals are on LinkedIn, but like some people go up there to ask about, hey, I need a mechanic, mobile mechanic, or it's so many groups
Facebook.
you can get in on Facebook, man. And I guess that's what Hampton Roads group became. It became a group where people would post jobs or they needed help and here, and then Will would get mad because he didn't want to pay what people charged. And that's kind of how his issues came up with the group.
I've just been arguing with people, and
people don't understand.
And it became a debate, and it became people being sensitive. And
well, yeah, that's,
second shooters still shouldn't be charging what they charge.
All right, let's talk about it.
They shouldn't.
Okay, let's talk about it. All right, wait. We won't talk about it from a second shooter standpoint. Let's talk about it from the main shooter.
Sure.
Any situation, doesn't matter what it is. What are your thoughts on that? I have my thoughts, and I'll share them after I hear your thoughts.
If I
wait, hold on. I don't mean to interrupt you. Do you want to do it situationally about like a wedding versus something else, or
I'll stick with weddings because I think
okay. All right.
Or we can do it.
We can do weddings.
Yeah, let's do weddings.
Yeah, just to keep it simple.
If I'm the holder of the contract, I'm responsible for the contract. Say the wedding's $4,000. I have to edit the photos. I have to shoot it. I've dealt with the engagement. I've dealt with the booking of it. I've dealt with these people for, let's just say, a year. You come in and say you want $500 for 4 to 6 hours. How does that make sense?
It doesn't.
Where do people get these numbers from?
I think you have people who have the general sense of
Or $75 an hour or something like that.
Right.
Where do you get this
like
from?
you're not gonna go out. This is the problem when you are a freelancer or 1099, however you want to call yourself. You know what you can make by yourself.
Yeah.
But I don't think people ever equate the actual time and effort and energy it takes when you work on something like a wedding, right? I never shot a lot of weddings. I probably shot 50 weddings, right? People shoot 50 weddings a year, and I'm like, you're insane.
Yeah.
It's 52 weeks in a year.
And you're shooting 50
You're shooting
of the
50,
the
like-
weekends. Yeah.
Why,
It's a lot.
right? But the way that I was figuring it, I'm a very numbers oriented type of person. I go, okay, if I have an 8-hour wedding, you're gonna spend obviously 8 hours at the wedding.
Yep.
If you have an engagement shoot with that, you're probably gonna spend at least 2 hours with that.
Yep.
We're not even talking about editing at this point. We're literally talking about on site with these people, right? So then we're not including travel time.
Yep.
We're not including gas.
Nope.
We're not including editing software, computers, cell phones, emails, like
Any of that.
So my day-to-day job is project management. I deal with budgeting multi-million-dollar contracts, and I can nickel and dime a contract and nickel and dime a budget. Knowing that, and knowing people are like, you know what, and I'm guilty of it too. I'll shoot your wedding, $2,500.
Yeah.
8 hours on a Saturday, August, whatever. Yeah, I'm free. Yeah, I'll do it. And you're like, you go through all the process, you edit all the, and you don't know how to sell the photos, you don't know how to sell the albums. Maybe you don't want to sell them the way some people sell them, like in-person sales stuff.
Right.
It's a whole world, right? But at some point, we're all doing the same thing. We're still driving to the shoot location, so we're still spending the same time shooting or editing. And then they think as a second shooter, well, I'm just, it's my Saturday. My Saturday is worth $500.
Right.
It's just a number.
Right.
If you came to me and I said, "Will, I need a second shooter," and if you were in the government sense of you providing me a proposal,
Right.
I'd say, "Give me your proposal and break it down."
Yeah.
Like I want in detail why I'm paying you this much money.
Exactly.
So if you were like, okay, well, the shoot is 50 miles from my house. My car gets 50 miles per gallon. I'm gonna use 2 gallons there and back. It's gonna be 1 hour. My hourly rate just for shooting photography is, let's do something reasonable, $40 an hour.
Sure.
Right. So now your travel time is whatever it is, $40 an hour.
Yep.
So that's 40 plus 40 plus the time you're shooting. If you're shooting another hour, that's 40.
Yep.
Okay. So we're at $120.
Fair enough.
That's all you're doing.
That's it.
Right. So now let's throw in your camera equipment. So say you're shooting with a what are you Sony shooter or Sony?
I'm a Nikon.
What are you?
Nikon.
I thought you said he was a photographer.
I respect him because he said he would be Canon if he.
I
could
would
start
if I could switch over to Canon.
Okay, you can do anything you want.
I can.
Well, you should charge more as a second shooter.
I don't want to second shoot anything.
So
ahead.
let's say you have your camera, right? So your camera and your lens and your SD card has a depreciation scale on it, right?
Exactly.
Taxes,
Yep.
right? And again, a lot of people may not even realize this. Every year you do your taxes, you can write off a percentage of your equipment. You can write off all of it if you want. In some situations, from my understanding, this is not financial advice. I'm just telling you what my CPA tells me. So you can actually figure out if I second shoot 20 times a year. Okay, take your depreciation, take your value of your camera. If you want your camera paid off in 20 shoots, divide the cost of your camera plus taxes, divide it by 20. That's your number of what your rental rate is. You're doing the same thing that I'm doing with your equipment. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So then you take your $120, add in whatever your rental rate is for that time, whether you want to break it down by day or hour. If you're shooting, if you want to break it down by hour, it gets a little ridiculous. So you might as well just say 365 days. If you shoot 100 days, that's your cost.
Yep.
Add that into your equation. We're still nowhere near $500.
Nowhere near.
Not even close. We're not even halfway there.
250 something like that. Not even that.
And I think that's where a lot of people get rubbed wrong. And I'm sure it's the same on the video side, right? You have people who come in and shoot video and pay me $800 for this.
Oh, for sure. It's
8-hour event.
People try to bring day rates into video, into weddings.
Weddings, yeah.
Outside of that, I get it. If your day rate is what it is, half of day rate is what it is. But we're doing a wedding. Why is your day rate?
So is that day rate based on what they would charge the client?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not what
what
you're charging
you-
me,
yeah.
because you're not doing all the work you would do for your client. Your day rate is different.
Well, I've always believed just get somebody that you could trust to go. That's why most videographers don't outsource. They bring somebody in, and that's who they just hire all the time because it's just easier. Because if not, you're first of all you got to find somebody who has the same camera as you or somewhere near it. If not, you can do extra work to blend it together if you want, whatever. But I think it's easier, and I told him it's easier. But the problem is, if you get somebody that you can build up, eventually they will leave because they're going to want to do their own
Right.
thing. So it's almost like a revolving door of, do you bring somebody in house? Do you? That's why I've always respected people who do husband and wife teams and stuff like that. I mean, keep it all in house.
Which is also crazy.
If she wants to do it, yeah, I tried it.
That's
for a little
crazy.
bit. I mean, it's
It's
not as
stressful.
bad, but you just got to get the respect as knowing whoever's in charge is in charge,
Right.
or whoever's better at it. You're along for the ride. You can bring stuff to the table, but it's this person's true business. Where his problem is, I get it. It's like with photography, you have no idea what them pictures look like unless you're asking them
That's true.
at dinner, which they're leaving most of the time at dinner.
Yeah.
And I've seen him get burnt where he's literally got pictures and it's like, yo, all these are out of focus or these don't even make sense shutter wise. So I get his gripe. I have no problem paying somebody. I always think like this: the best thing to do is pay somebody. If you're gonna get a second shooter, it's a new thing now.
It's not new.
Is
Some magazine
your
back
second
in
shooter
2010 said
should be a lead because that means you don't have to worry about certain things if you had a true second shooter.
So your overhead just skyrocketed.
Your overhead just skyrocketed because
It's
now
just-
you're paying.
Right.
Now you're paying a guy or a young lady who has their own company $1,000 or $800 to $1,000 to come with you for a shoot, and they're basically gonna. So there's no way you can have two leads on the same day.
So Marcus, my budget is only $2,500.
Well, I ain't going anyway. But that's another thing. If you
My budget's $4,000. You're still gonna pay
I'm still gonna pay you
quarter.
$1,000
And you know what's even more crazy about that?
to stand there majority of the time
Here's
because I'm
what's
gonna do all the
crazy.
creative work
That's
because
it.
it's my style.
Right, good.
And they're gonna go, yeah, it's $1,000 for me to help you, and you're gonna get paid $4,000, and then you're gonna pay taxes on $4,000. So you're losing so much money.
I had a guy, Ryan.
Ridiculous,
I had
man.
Ryan, a guy named Ryan. I don't know if you know Ryan, East Noble.
Yeah.
Ryan, me and Ryan are good friends. So
You know his real name is Mark.
fraud. Where came from?
Yeah, where you at? Fraud.
You're fraud. But anyway,
I don't know what the deal is with it, but I didn't know that for the
I didn't know
longest
that
time.
either. But he came with me to a wedding because
Watch that be a lie. It's
Eric-
a cover up.
Eric was out of town, so he came with me to a wedding. I need. It was a popular day. It was like October 28th, like 2 years ago. It was a popular date. He happened to be free, so he comes with me. I'm paying him. And I'm pretty sure I didn't pay him like lead money, but I paid him what he. I mean, I let him whatever he told me. I pay him. He was on there for 6 hours. I'm not disclosing how much he paid, but literally that wedding was a letdown. He didn't do anything. He was like, man, I almost feel bad taking this money from you, but I'm still gonna take it. But
Of course he would. He
Because
don't
it's
feel
not-
that bad.
it was literally like
Right.
it was literally one of those weddings where we thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be a lot going on. I probably could do the whole wedding by myself,
Yeah.
and now I'm like out of that amount of money, and I'm like, never
Ouch.
am I ever gonna
Right.
bring you back unless I know for sure I'm like have to be here. And this wedding, I'm talking like we're out of the country, and I'm getting like a nice buttload of money.
Yeah.
I just think about all
But-
5 years ago. 5 years ago, when I was doing weddings heavy, I just think about all the money I spent paying second shooters and how many trips.
But
and-
we're talking about, but 5 years ago, you weren't what you are now. It took time to get to the point where now you could, because I also feel like people now are way more prone to allow the photographer to control the timeline. So you can be in two places. You can be where you need to be at.
Oh, I can make it happen now.
You can make it happen now.
Yeah.
But 5 years ago, there was no way you
True.
were getting that much control.
True.
Which, unfortunately, is where the business is at.
But also the name of the game is you most of the time have to be the lowest bidder, if you will.
In weddings, yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
Now, especially
So-
now. Especially
Yeah.
now.
So how cutthroat are you willing to be, right? Are you the Walmart where you care about volume, or are you the Ferrari
Exactly.
who cares only about selling the elite.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
It's a hard balance. Like me personally, I'm more content shooting less things, making
More money.
more money than I am shooting more things and eventually making less money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to shoot obviously less and making the same money. I'm almost willing to shoot less and make less money if it's
Benefit.
less involved and less, like I said earlier, bigger doesn't mean better, bigger doesn't mean more profit, right? More revenue doesn't mean more profit.
Yeah.
More money, more problems.
Exactly. That's the truth.
That's
Right.
the big thing about it. So I don't know. The second shooter thing I think will always be an issue.
Always.
The people shooting for free will always be an issue.
Yep.
And there's no way around it.
But I'm learning dealing with commercial work. I don't have to deal with second shooters. The only thing I need is an assistant. I can deal with that.
So how do you handle your assistant? Straight hourly rate?
Straight hourly.
$10.99?
Or a flat rate in the proposal of I'm paying this person this much for the day. It's been budgeted in where they're getting $400.
But are they a photographer or are they...
They can be whatever I want them to
Right,
be.
okay.
They don't even
So
have
that
to
makes
be a
sense.
photographer. Exactly.
So if they were a photographer, you're not going to pay them a photographer rate because they're not
They're not photographing.
doing photography.
Yeah.
Right.
It's grip work for the most
Right,
part.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or a Digitech.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with that, man. Like,
Which is
weddings.
nice.
Exactly. Weddings, like, they demand this second shooter thing. That's a reason why I don't want to do it.
That's what blows my mind about people who still shoot weddings
Yeah.
as much as they do. I mean, good for you. Like, if you truly love shooting weddings, and some people truly love shooting weddings, good.
Yeah.
Because you will never catch me shooting another wedding. I say that. Watch me, like,
But
someone will come to me and be like, I feel like I have to
$5,000
shoot
for
this-
you, man. All
I have to
right.
shoot this wedding.
Yeah, you
But
just shoot a wedding now. You never shoot it.
But it's it's one of those things you don't do something in such a long time. I'm like, man, I don't know if I have the creativity
To do it.
again. Like I know I haven't lost the ideas and concepts of what I can do creatively,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, man, I don't like being under that pressure.
Nope. I feel you.
So, to wrap it all up, do you think when you started DLR, it was going to be what it is now?
Absolutely not.
I mean, it's like its own brand now.
It's pretty wild.
Like when I type in like lens rental, like you're pretty much up there with like lens rental, whatever the other companies are.
You know how to be good at Google searches? Be the only one in town.
True. That's true. That's really
true.
good.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's
I
true.
dare you to search photographer. I guarantee you my name won't be in the first 30 pages.
Exactly.
I've seen Kinetic pop up.
Ah,
something.
man. No. I don't even... I'll tell you this. I didn't
You don't
even...
need to put anything out though for what you do.
I don't. I love my clients that I work for. I love what I do. And maybe if I was doing it full time, because I'm not a full time photographer. I do it
You have your contract
as a side hustle for what I do. But like I didn't even renew my website this year.
Just let it go.
I just let it go because it was one more thing I had to take care of, one more bill to pay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm like just throwing money. Like, cool, great. I could post all my pictures on Instagram and be like, hey, I shoot sports. Go look at my Instagram. They're not gonna be like, oh, well, you're not a professional photographer.
Where's your website?
All right, where's your website? Let me contact you on your website. No, that's not. Yeah. So I don't think DLR. I would have never have guessed. I thought it was crazy. The first month I made $1,000.
I can see. Yeah,
Right?
that's
You're
not
like,
sales, man.
you're like, whoa! I just like when you're talking like $70 at a pop. You're open 3 to 6.
Yeah.
You're meeting people after your full time job.
This is a
And you're like,
need.
dang, I made $1,000 in the first month. That's kind of cool.
This is a need.
And then like you've come to today, you're like, wow, COVID sucked. Like, I don't know about you guys. COVID was horrific for us. It was
For
horrific.
DLR or just
for DLR.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, like-
there's nothing to shoot.
I had a month during COVID
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of it was like July, where I made the same amount of money as I did in like the first 14 months.
Dude, I did my taxes in 21. My accountant said, I feel so bad for you.
Right, it's like huge.
She was like, I've never seen such a
Huge.
significant drop off in
Wild.
It was terrible.
And people, I think people have a misconception too of this business. Where like, oh, you must be making tons of money. I was like, we're still recovering from COVID.
Pretty much.
For sure.
Still recovering. Like we had a long period where obviously we didn't have sales because everything was shut down, right? So that was the first period. The second phase would be when we couldn't get equipment. Literally could not buy
Yeah,
it.
because you waited
Couldn't buy-
forever.
yeah.
You couldn't
waited
buy it.
forever for your cameras.
I couldn't
You
buy
probably
anything.
still can't because the sensors and stuff
Dude,
are
it's
slowly coming.
all
Yeah.
still out of control. And now the problem is everything is so damn expensive.
Yep.
And it's like stressing me out. Insurance has gone through the roof. Product has gone through the roof. And it's like, I hate to be that company who keeps increasing their prices because it doesn't do any favors for anyone, right?
No.
And at the same time, you're
Or the
like,
customer.
right. At the same time, you're like, man, like I have to survive, so I have to raise prices. So that, I mean, it's been such a crazy learning curve and trying to figure it all out. And, you know, shout out to Lydia for everything she does because she runs this place by herself, you know, every day doing it on her own. And, you know, I'm more on the back end. Like you said, I'm super busy. Got so many things going on. You know, I deal with the technical back end side of trying to figure out how do we survive for however long we want to do this, right? Do I want to push this out for 10 more years? Do I want to do it for 5 more years? Do I want to, you know, give this business to somebody, like let Lydia fully take it over and just let it be her thing? Do I want to sell the business? Do I want to invest a bunch of more money into this business? Do I want to buy a building? Like there's so many avenues you can go. And I mean, you don't know what the future holds. COVID obviously scared everyone. Not that I don't think it will ever happen again. I don't think we'll ever see something like that in our lifetime again.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Oh,
Okay. They've already tricked you into doing it once. They'll do it again.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be old enough where I won't care, and
You just do what you want.
I'll go to Walmart and get my prescriptions.
Exactly. They've already seen how far they can take it. So.
Right.
So what's next for digital lens rental?
I don't know.
What's next, man?
You know, we've
Cinema
got-
cameras?
No.
I don't know. Probably not. You know, the cinema game is so hard, and you know how
You're the
expensive
only
it
one
is.
around here that shoots that, man.
I'm not.
I mean, I'm
He
sure there
actually
are.
isn't.
Like, I know.
Nah, it's
I'm
a
just
lot of
saying.
us.
Like,
I would love to have $300,000 more of equipment.
yeah,
I may be one of the few that use cinema cameras because a lot of guys use Sony.
yeah.
But
I know
Canon-wise-
quite a few people who use Canon cinema gear.
Yeah, it's either Canon or Sony. I mean, that's
It's so
Not
everything
enough.
about it's so expensive, and you think about it. If you go buy one cinema lens, right? We're gonna drop $8,000.
Yep.
they're getting cheaper now.
Okay, $5,000.
They're getting cheaper than that now. But yeah, you're gonna drop between like
Okay, so
4 or 5.
all right,
30.
s-
I think Canon's the cheapest is 2,000, minimum 2,000,
okay, that's,
just for the lens.
but like
Everybody,
some of
can't
that
use-
stuff is,
Everybody can't use that lens though.
yeah, and that's the problem. Like I bought that probe lens. The thing's rented.
Oh yeah, I need to rent one. I want to try it out.
That thing's rented. I don't know, 5 times, maybe. And it's like, it's a super cool lens. I got it because someone convinced me. I don't know. So I bought it, and then I was like,
Why did I buy it?
this thing is so stupid. Why did I buy this stupid lens? And then, did you know that it broke like the first week that we got it?
Somebody broke it or it literally broke.
No, it broke itself. And then I had to ship it back to China because it's Chinese.
Glass fixed.
They had to say, dude, it took so long to get that thing back. And I was like, wow, I don't remember how much it was, like $1,200 or something. I was like, cool. I bought this lens and now I can't use it for 6 months that I've had it because it's broken. So
It's part of the game, man. I mean,
I think I'll say this: short term for DLR, next year is going to be kind of like a page turn for us. So I'm really gonna put some energy into this business and growing it in a way. Hopefully, I'm making the right decision by bringing a lot more equipment. We've had a lot of technology changes over these last few years with Canon and Sony.
mirrorless and all that. Other
Yeah, it's gotten crazy. So I really want to invest heavily next year.
Lighting.
I like lighting, but lighting is extremely hard to keep
up with.
not broken.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
somebody gonna break
Okay.
that, man.
I think about this all the time. So I could make a lot of money in accessories. I can make a lot of money in lighting.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is lighting breaks all the time.
That's true.
You know, because
Somebody
I have
knocks it over, and
right. You know, and accidents happen, and we've never been the company that's gonna be like, oh, God, I can't believe you broke our stuff. It's like, well, this sucks.
Expected.
This sucks. You probably feel worse than we feel because you're gonna have to be the one that fixes this. Sorry, like we do everything we can to help you fix it, but you know, with lighting, it's just, gosh, there's so many modifiers, there's so many different brands. Then you have to have all the light stands, and then it's just one thing.
Just get Bowen's mounts in here and some Pro.
I do like Bowen's mounts.
That's it. That's all you need.
You know,
That's it.
I shot with Paul Seabuff for years. And then I bought my what are my lights now? Gosh, so bad. Whatever my lights are now, so bad. I just shoot with them. I don't even because I don't shoot pro photo. I'm not a pro photo guy. Like I'm not like, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I was about to
I'm
get
not-
some of those. Yeah, right.
Like I love pro photo, but I'm not paying the money for pro photo.
Yeah.
I'm not paying the money for pro photo to be broken in front of me. Like, it's not
Yeah,
gonna
that'd
happen.
be terrible.
Oh, Godox. That's who I have.
Okay.
I have the Godox lights. But Bowen mounts are great.
Everybody has Bowens.
So nice.
Yeah.
Going from that Paul Buff stuff, I was like, this is so much better.
Yes.
So
Bowens is just industry standard for the most
also, if the Godox lights are not for rent, they're not on the website.
don't. Yeah.
I don't put them on there. I use them too much.
that's the one thing. If I ever was to rent, you also don't see a lot of people that allow you to rent lights. Like I said, they're always
Yeah,
broke,
it's
man.
always broke.
Because I mean, if you're doing an event and you've never really properly used the light,
You'll mess it
you'll
up.
mess it up.
Yep.
And if you are at an event and it's not yours tangibly, you're a little careless with it, and it takes somebody just knocking it over,
Right.
or you get the light. I would feel like if you rent lights, you need to rent C stands and the proper light stands. You don't want your light just sitting on a newer light stand,
Right.
and it's just as
That's
skinny
true.
and somebody runs by and,
And
the
it's
wind
done.
carries that
Carries
joint.
away. Yeah, that's
Not even them hitting it, just
Yeah.
motion. That's the setup, man.
And it goes so much further than just strobes, right?
Yeah.
Light panels.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
continuous light LED. Now you dealing
Okay.
with tubes,
Understandable.
all that other stuff.
you got to realize you have to kind of think in a way of staying in your lane, right? With photography, I stay in my lane. I shoot sports and concerts.
Yeah.
Staying in my lane. With the rental, it's the same way. I'm like, I really only want to do cameras and lenses.
Understandable.
You know,
Yeah.
like I'm cool with renting all this other accessory stuff, like the gimbals and we do have
with those too.
yeah, we have the light modifiers.
You weigh that wrong. You balance it wrong.
We've had a lot of people who get those and are like, well, it doesn't work. And we're like, well, did you read the instructions on the
Yeah.
website? Like, I didn't even see them. I'm like,
People
Download
barely
the
know
app?
how to use cameras
Yeah, it's true.
and lenses properly.
that.
Yeah.
I will say that is one thing that's probably the biggest surprise is how many people don't know how to use their camera.
And care for it the proper way.
Right. We have a lot of people who come in who truly don't know photography. And nothing's wrong with that. If you're willing to ask the question, we're willing to tell you everything we know. But it's crazy that you have some professionals, and I call them professionals because they are doing it professionally, who don't really know that much about photography. I don't know everything. I'm not implying I know everything.
Same here.
I'm just saying if you had a room full of 50 people who were 100% honest, it would be like, yeah, I don't know. How do I make that background blurry?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have, like we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
like you have that 5.6 lens. If I give it to you, if it's a 70 millimeter 5.6 lens, which I don't even know which lens that would be, anyways. But be like, how do you make the background blurry, right? There's only there's
It's the only way to do it.
right. There's a couple of ways you can do it. Some people just don't know.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Well, appreciate it, man. This has been a good one. I guess we can say this is going to be another two-parter.
2 parts. It's gotta be.
Great,
Two-part.
dope conversations. Appreciate it, man. Will, take us on out.
Hey, Nick, thank you, man.
Yeah, dude. Appreciate
Where
it.
can people find you? I know you don't. Do you want to talk about Kinetic still?
I mean, I can.
Do you care that people know? Well, first of all, there's no website to find them.
If you
That
want
is true.
Instagram, if you want to find me, if you want to see my photography,
Go to
Kinetic-
norfolkstate.com.
yeah, right.
.edu.
Yeah, my name's on all the photos. If you want to see my photography, Kinetic Stills, KINET ICST.
It's gonna be on the screen, man. Dang.
If Will's editing this, I don't know his skill level.
That's true.
So it's KINETICSTILL.
Look, you want to look good. I don't know why you even. Hey, go ahead. Kinetic stills, man.
So, and if you want to come to Digital Lens Rental,
They're not open every day.
we're not open every day. We're open Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Fridays because workforce is hard. Hiring people is hard.
Yeah.
But, we're always here to help. Even if we're not open on Wednesdays, Saturdays, Sundays, people know if you reach out to us, it comes to us. We'll answer our phones. We'll answer questions. This is not a typical business where we're not going to answer your phone calls and emails and messages on Facebook or Instagram. We're here for the community. We love everyone we see except people who steal from us. We hate you guys.
I got an idea right quick. You should let Will run the Hampton Roads Facebook group one day.
Do it. I'll make you an admin right now.
Make him an admin. Let him get in there and
I will make you an admin.
let him get in there and be controlling some
Hey.
stuff.
Okay.
Bring the band hammer with them. Just
Ooh.
I can hear him now. Poll. How much the second shoes get paid? Everybody voting. Okay, I'm gonna remove you.
right.
Okay, let's weed.
He's gonna make it anonymous poll, so you can't see who wrote it.
I'll put my face up there.
He with it. He with it.
Oh, you're gonna be that dude with a cup of coffee?
Yes.
Second shooter.
How much should you make?
Second shooter should be paid less than 200 a wedding.
Change my mind.
Yeah.
Second shooter should be paid less. Change my mind.
Yeah.
But we appreciate it, man. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Will.
Hey man, Nick, thank you so much for all you do for the community too.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, man. So thank y'all for checking out the Hustle and Motivate podcast. Always respect the hustle if you earn from it and motivate others in the process. And we'll see y'all in the next one.